What's up guys, Tamarakshan here. This is the OnePlus 8. Now it's not the 2020 flagship phone from OnePlus, but instead it's like an updated version of the last year's OnePlus 70. And as of now, since the 70 is available for purchase, does this phone have anything special to choose over the 70 might be a doubt in your mind, because the OnePlus 8 is actually more expensive than the 70, and this video is to clear that doubt. Now since I mentioned that the price is higher than the 70, let's pull up the price chart, and here as you can see, the base variant of the OnePlus 8 is 42,000 Indian rupees and it has 6GB of RAM, which is lesser RAM than what's available in the 70's base variant. And if you go for the next option of the OnePlus 8, which has the same RAM and storage as the OnePlus 70's base variant, the price gets hiked to 45,000 Indian rupees, and you can even push further to the top spec variant, which is priced for 50,000 Indian rupees. And actually that's the variant I have tested. But I'll say it straight, don't even consider buying this variant because you are almost into the OnePlus 8 Pro's price territory, which is to be frank a much better phone than this one. So now that we have the pricing, let's focus on our core user experience to figure out whether this OnePlus 8 is a worthy phone. And here firstly for the build quality, I have zero complaints. I mean, it's a premium quality OnePlus device which has the usual OnePlus material choices, which is glass in the front and back with metal rail which is aluminium, and here there is tight tolerance and zero flex with precise cutouts and also excellent buttons with the OnePlus trademark mute slider and also curved sides, which this time is both seen in the front and back, which is good with the back glass, but I'm actually not a fan of it in the display glass. Then for the camera module, it's a cleaner one than what's seen in the OnePlus 70, and also this is not protruding that much, which is a good thing. And also by the way, even though the phone is a big phone, it doesn't feel very heavy, and also since it's not that wide, it feels really good in the hand. It's not a one-handed phone, but still the ergonomics is great, and for the design and build quality, this is on par with the top flagship phones. And if in case you're wondering, well, this is the Interstellar Glow color, which looks good in camera, but while using it, it's like a mirror which shines and glows, but attracts plenty of fingerprints and smudges. So if you're not a fan of those things, I'll recommend to check maybe the glacial green color. Now OnePlus has included a free case in box, but it's a flexible transparent plastic case, so that will also attract fingerprints if you're curious about that. While talking about free stuff included, let's move to the display section of this phone, and here there is a pre-installed plastic screen guard which I didn't remove, but this is not going to protect from drops, but it's just here to keep those scratches away from the 6.55-inch AMOLED display. This is a 1080p panel with a pixel density of 402 ppi, and here you have the 90Hz refresh rate, which shouldn't be a surprise, and actually this display is a pretty good one. It gets really bright and is vivid with neat viewing angles, but compared to the 70's display, this one, to be frank, is not very different. I mean, you can say that the 70 gets a teardrop notch while this one has a hole punch, but from a user experience point of view, both are stuff we'll get used to, and over time, let it be hole punch or notch, we won't be noticing it much. In this price range, it's a good display, but comparing with the 70, I'll say this is not special, and also it doesn't feel like an upgrade. And actually same is applicable with the in-display fingerprint scanner used here. It's fast and mostly accurate, but again, this is the exact same one that's used in the 70. The surface area hasn't increased and the speed of unlock remains the same. So till now, there isn't much of improvements, which might seem like a disappointment, but that's gonna change a bit when you check the internals. OnePlus has upgraded the internals for this phone, and actually that's the only big change. The processor used is the new Snapdragon 865 with Adreno 650 GPU, and that paired with the high amount of RAM, well, this phone is fast. I mean, it's a powerhouse. Lags are zero and the experience is so fluid. Well, that was expected, and for those who are wondering whether there is any difference when you compare this new chipset to the old Snapdragon 855 Plus in the 70, well, as of now, it's not that noticeable. At times when loading stuff, this is fast, but other than that, I didn't feel it much. It's almost like an iPhone XR and an iPhone 11 difference. But if you're a heavy user and also you're looking far ahead in terms of support, well then the Snapdragon 865 in the OnePlus 8 has its advantages. It's a 5G supported device, so that's like future proofing, but as of now, there isn't much of difference, and what you'll feel is that it's a super fast phone with a clean UI which is Oxygen OS based on Android 10. And you're talking about software, OnePlus is good in pushing updates, which is usually not what you get in the Android space. So regarding the internals, it's a good update for the OnePlus 8, but the next factor is again a bit of a disappointment compared to the 70, and that's the cameras. I feel it's like a downgrade compared to the 70. You get 3 cameras in the rear, in which the main sensor is a 48 megapixel Sony sensor with f1.7 aperture, and the other 2 cameras are one which is a 16 megapixel ultra-wide camera, and the next one is a 2 megapixel macro camera. So the telephoto camera is gone, and also some of the specs are weaker than the camera system in the OnePlus 70. But here when it comes to real world usage, the main sensor is a pretty good one which can take excellent shots in most of the lighting situations, and here even the nightscape mode, which is night mode, is a good one for shots in dark environments. And also this sensor acts like a 2x zoom one in which the image is cropped in, but still those shots does look pretty detailed. I also enjoyed shots from the ultra-wide camera, but the macro camera one used here is a bad choice. I don't know why OnePlus went for a 2 megapixel dedicated macro camera in the OnePlus 8, because the OnePlus 70 had a macro setting even without using a dedicated macro sensor, and actually that choice would have been better, but this is what we get. And about the front camera, this hole punch camera is a 16 megapixel Sony sensor, which is a good one, but again it's not better than what was available in the 70, and that's because they both are almost the same camera. And by the way, for video recording, even though the main camera can record 4K video at 60 fps, it's again not the best. So from all this, for this price, I'll say this is a decent camera package. If camera is your topmost priority, you must look for other options in market, but if it's like a casual camera usage, the camera system in the OnePlus 8 will be good for you. Now the next thing to check is the battery, and here the battery used is a 4300 mAh battery, which is a much bigger one than what was used in the OnePlus 70. And here not only since it's a big battery, but since the processor is more efficient, for my usage it's a sure one-day phone. And I do use my phone pretty heavily with almost a 6 to 6.5 hours of screen on time, and when it's time to charge, just plug in the included 30-watt fast charger, and in approximately 1 hour, the battery will be fully charged. So the battery side, especially the battery life, there is improvement with the OnePlus 8 compared to the OnePlus 70, but for charging and the charger available in box, there isn't any change with the two phones. And by the way, the OnePlus 8 also doesn't support wireless charging, and there is no official IP rating. And about the speakers, you get dual speakers here and the output is pretty loud and also clear. So even though you might miss the headphone jack, you can enjoy content with the loudspeaker, and also this earpiece is a good one for calls. Then some of the other stuff to note is that the Bluetooth version is 5.1 and the Wi-Fi module is Wi-Fi 6, and also you get NFC, and for the number of SIM slots, it's 2 nano SIM slots. And lastly, one key thing to note is that the haptic vibration is excellent in the OnePlus 8, which was the same with the OnePlus 70. So after checking all this, you should have an idea about the OnePlus 8, and I think whether you should buy one is a choice that you can easily make. When you consider the OnePlus 8 with its other competitors from different manufacturers in the same price range, well then the OnePlus 8 is a pretty solid phone with an average camera. OnePlus 8's strong point is the latest specs with one of the cleanest Android user interface with a big and beautiful display which provides a great and fast user experience. For speed, this is a top rated phone. But at present, the 70 is also a great phone with majority of the specs being on par with the OnePlus 8, and also since the price tag is much lower, it looks more attractive. And therefore what I would say is that if your budget is only matching the 70, getting the 70 is still not a bad option. And about the OnePlus 8, don't buy it for the 5G support because that's something which will take a lot of time to become a mainstream thing, and maybe when that happens, the OnePlus 8 might be outdated. And also don't consider this top-end variant because if you're planning to spend that much, you can go for the base variant of the OnePlus 8 Pro. And with the OnePlus 8, I feel the best option is the middle variant, which is selling for 45,000 Indian rupees. That's all for this video guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If so, a like is much appreciated and a sub will be great too. See you in the next one. Till then, bye.